ask. The most important thing, though, is that OMG would love the 3 points.
Yeah, they certainly would. If they get the 3 points, they go 3 points clear of anyone. Having that extra winning series as a buffer is just so important. But we're straight into Champions League.
We are indeed. OMG on the blue side this time around. They'll ban at Lee Sin, actually, as the first ban there. Looks like Lissandra going to go the ban for M3. And Lee Sin dropped through the draft last game. The first ban here for OMG. Azir going to follow through as well.
Yeah, I think that they're thinking that Roar wants to get his solo lanes ahead, and when he plays Lee Sin, he does that quite well. So they're looking to get away from early map pressure that Lee Sin provides and really snowball and, I guess, try and stomp another game.
Yeah, I mean, the Janna band are here for M3 as well. And I think you're right. The Vi just didn't quite work there for her. It's not a snowball lane champion at all. It's more of a level 6, hard engage champion. They didn't really need that. They've got weapons like that. Dade and Lupa can both do that for the team.
Yeah, and I think picking it so early was the confusing thing for me. If you have a pocket pick, yeah, pull it out, but do it on red side when you have a 5th pick and they can't counter it. They got the Morgana very early on and it just did nothing.
Yeah, Jarvan banned there as well for OMG. So quite a few junglers. In fact, the 3 main ones looking to get banned out here. Rek'Sai is still open, and I can't imagine you give that champion to Loveland.
Yeah, but then do you give going nah? Do you leave the Rumble up? There's just so many things that you have to hit against this OMG lineup. Maybe Rek'Sai, you leave it up and try and get 2 the next time round.
I mean, maybe they could go for a bit more of a targeted ban. Tristana wouldn't be bad. Sivir would be okay as well. Like, not the super priority picks, but decent picks that we've seen. So M3 got a big decision to make here, and they go with Rumble as their last ban. Okay,
so now they have to decide whether they want to go for the Nara or the Rek'Sai. It looks like the decision's made.
Yep, it's done. They're going to go for Rek'Sai and M3. Lupa has to pick up Nahi, you feel. Going played a fantastic M in Rumble. I do understand the ban there, but he is a terror on Nah. Looks like M3 are going to hover it. They know to give it to Lupa.
Yeah, they certainly should take it away right here. I think that the logical thing is also for Rook to grab that Rengar, maybe try and put some early map pressure on with it, try and follow this Rek'Sai around and counter gank. But yeah, they really need to... Oh, that's 2 pretty good picks to grab in response.
Yeah, I'd say so. Casted another first 2 picks for M3. We see a lot of strong red side drafts in game 1. And 3, of course, down a game here, looking to take it even at 1 run, which would be a tragedy for OMG at this point, given their standings.
Yeah, it certainly would be. And now I want to see what Cool's response is to the Kassadin in the mid lane, because we know he plays a fantastic Orianna. Orianna is legacy, given the Kassadin issues in the mid lane, but has he got something else that he wants to take up there? Looks like they'll go for the Aurelia. We see this matchup so often now. Aurelia picked into Nah just does extremely well. Potentially when you get the boots too, you can even out-trade.
Yeah, I like the Thresh here for low as well. So everything going according to plan for OMG. Another solid start for actually both these teams for their drafts as well. M3 might run into trouble pigeonholing their solo laners a little bit because it's very obvious where they're going, but they have really strong picks in this draft. And you mentioned Aurelia. Aurelia just feels so safe whenever you pick her.
Yeah, Aurelia is like that jack of all trades, master of none top lane. Does everything well. Team fights well, has a lot of mixed damage, split pushes when she needs to. So just a very safe comfort pick that you can take up there.
Yeah, M3 going to consider their next 2 picks here as well. We'll see what they want to go for. They are going to take away the Morgana, and I love the comfort pick of Corki for Candy.
Yeah, I like that pickup as well. Gives the shield will also stop a lot of the knockups that come through. So far, there's not much magic damage on the lineup of OMG to break through that black shield. So we'll be able to stop a lot of the CC. If Uzi locks in Vayne, I will nearly go nuts.
I mean, it's a kind of an interesting matchup. I think classically it was Corki favored, but with the Corki changes, the Phosphor Storm being a lot slower, be a bit different if that was the matchup we went for. And Uzi, he hovered Caitlyn, he could have gone for that. But if he goes full-on hypercarry here into this lane, that shows me a lot.
Yeah, and if they stay with the Cassiopeia as well and go 2 hypercarries, no, they're going to go with Caitlyn. So that's a smarter pickup, able to really bully around the Corki early. One of the last ADs that can do that, does go extremely well in the lane. And Cool going to look to bully Dade around even further with that Cassiopeia into the Kassadin matchup.
Yeah, this is a very volatile mid lane, you have to feel like. There's a lot that can go wrong. Kassadin can get on top of Cassiopeia once he hits level 6, but Cass is such good landing early on, and going to go back to the Vi here for Ro. That's his jungler, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's what he wants to run into what OMG are trying to do. I like it more this time round because he can get onto the Cassio. And if you can get onto Cassio, do enough damage that Dade can wipe her off the map, that is a lot of the damage that are coming through from OMG. Although when you've got a Rek'Sai, Aurelia, and a Caitlyn, there is a lot more in the back line, but the consistent threat that comes out of Cool will be shut down by that Joy if it goes well.
Yeah, and again, just an embarrassment of threats on the OMG lineup as far as star power is concerned. I almost feel like the Vi is just to kill Uzi, because a lot of teams would identify that Uzi is one of the strongest, if not the strongest aspect of that team, but didn't work out last game because, again, just Go Going was the one getting ahead. Uzi died a couple times, but Go Going was more than happy to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and I think that if you credit a lot, like, definitely big credit to Uzi. He's an amazing AD carry, but if you think that he is the strongest threat on this lineup, I don't think you've really consistently watched how OMG are playing, because they don't have a single threat. That's why they're winning games, because every single person on the map is doing exactly what they need to, time in, time out.
And the scariest thing is, it's not just 3 carry players carrying individually, it's 3 carry players carrying together.
Yeah, exactly right. And you throw the jungle and the support in there, and wow, you feel spoiled every single time you get to watch these guys step out onto the Rift.
Yeah, I'd be pretty curious to see what happens here as well. OMG, again, they would love a win here. They need to try and get their points up, but we're going to be going straight to the game. Let's go through for Game 2. And we are on to the Rift for our last game of the day here. The LPL Day 2 Week 3 English coverage continues, or concludes today, I suppose, with the last game here. OMG are upper gaming what was one hell of a 27-minute game in M3, fighting here to basically steal points away from OMG.
Yeah, certainly, and maybe grab a little bit of pride back. You don't want to lose in that fashion in a 27-minute game, especially when they had the start they did. They got the early drag and were able to pull off a very good early game strat, but just came undone extremely quickly. So looking to, as I said, maybe get a little bit back for this one.
Yeah, big stack here for M3 as well. Loveling, again, doing his dancey thing off towards the entrance of the jungle. And Ro will hang out here. M3 might be looking for a late invade of their own this time around. OMG with a really fancy level 1, but M3 answered beautifully with their early rotations.
Yeah, sorry, I was just checking out Rek'Sai's breakdancing. I actually didn't know that was a dance that came out of that Void creature, so busting a move is lovely.
Loveling will teach us many great things about the jungle as well as their dance moves. And it looks like OMG just going to defend off their lanes. We actually already have Uzi and Low down towards the bottom, just checking the lane out, actually. Maybe looking for something a little sneaky.
Yeah, maybe potentially looking to see if there is anyone going to roam through that brush and get a good level 1. Thresher's level 1 as far as damage of supports go is extremely high. So if he can get anything done down there, would put him in good stead. But it looks like it'll be pretty standard with jungle starts.
Yeah, and OMG have to be very happy with standard lanes here. And standard jungle starts going to be fine as well. They're going to both go Gromp into blue. Candy and Love City will help out Ro. And the top lane of their Go Going will help out Loveling over on their side of the jungle.
Yeah, so Ro electing to go for a W start. That is an extremely quick start, but it does mean you take a little bit more damage. If you start the E, you can use your passive, get a little bit more shield.
Yep, here we go. The cheese here as Low and Uzi come out of the bush. They're going in level 1 here with the minion wave already arrived. And seems like Candy actually won that trade. Thresh taking a little bit more damage.
Yeah, smart move there to walk away from the brush so Uzi couldn't get the double passive off at level 1 because of how many autos he was throwing down. So really nicely done by the M3 lane, but they will be pushed back early. This is a Caitlyn lane. Going to be very difficult as the lane goes on.
And it's not just any Caitlyn lane, it's an Uzi Caitlyn lane. This guy already makes you contest CS on Vayne, let alone Caitlyn. If there's one way to characterize Uzi's play, is Low again going to take a trade. It is that he makes you fight for every single CS you want.
Yeah, he's not happy just winning lane. He looks to push every tiny little bit of an advantage he can. And you see, even with his movements, moving out to the left of the lane, not picking up turret aggro and continuing to shove in, put pressure down every single time.
Yeah, and I mentioned the fast push Caitlyn strat from the old Royal Club days of Uzi's play. Going to maybe bring a little bit of that flavor back here to OMG. And this is, I think, for the first time in a while in today, just in general, that we've seen standard lanes. And Uzi going to be very happy with that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you take a champion like Caitlyn, you are expecting to really push an advantage early on. She does have a little bit of a dip due to items, as unfortunately Lou actually misses that cannon creep, I believe. But when she gets going, her poke just becomes so potent out of that Q, can really shove a lane hard.
Yeah, and you can see with the early CS lead, doubling Corky's early lead so far there. That's cool in the mid now against Dade. Trying to bully this Cassidy, a couple CS ahead. Corky actually forced out of lane already by the Uzi Caitlyn.
Yeah, and actually pops a heal to stay in the wave. Wow, that is just such bad news. We'll be able to shove out. Oh, got the hook.
That's so good there onto Uzi. Candy will not take too much damage, so good body blocking there from Love CD, but that's going to force him out of his lane. Uzi going to cancel one recall. Candy will get to go home, but going from bad to worse in the bottom lane in just 4 minutes.
Yeah, and the important thing about CS is you look at it as a percentage. So never look at just like a 10 CS gap. It's how much percent are you ahead at that point in the game. So Uzi is 100% ahead of his opposition laner and will be able to go back and therefore buy twice a good item and push this advantage even further.
Yep, they're going to go back early. Just a couple of potions and some wards. It seems like, oh no, Uzi going full aggression. Double Doran's blade early on.
Yeah, also able to pick up some more pots in there as well. Did have 280 gold, so yeah, was just short of that pickaxe, so wasn't able to pick that one up. He does love to get an early pickaxe and really bully the lane around.
I've noticed in general, actually, Uzi just seems to want to spend his gold whenever he has it. He does have very strict back timers. He's a great laner and a great CS, so he almost always gets the early BF sword, but one thing he does do is that we saw it in last game when he just had a random pickaxe in his inventory after his first major item. He just goes back and he wants to be as gold efficient as possible.
Yeah, he certainly did. I remember watching Worlds and he was very often going back and grabbing a pickaxe and then he would go back and grab a crit cloak before dragon fights just because he's like, I want to eke out every little bit of damage I can do. And if it's that one crit that wins us the dragon fight, then it pays itself off. And yeah, you're definitely right. He has very, very strict timers on what he wants to buy, but he also likes to match his lane and ensure that he's always ahead. That's why I was so surprised he stayed for so long in that Tristana game.
Yeah, and I mean, we've also seen Uzi sometimes be very greedy with his CS. We've noted that he loves to pick up minions wherever he can. I think there was that one Vayne game where he bought a Blade of the Ruined King straight out after his first pack. So does have a bit of a mix and matching there. Again, a very greedy, very proud player. But the bottom line, we could probably talk about forever in this match because it's just going so well for OMG.
Yeah, it certainly is. And if you duck around the map really quickly, there are other things going well for OMG as well. Cassiopeia is definitely ahead by about 11 CS as well. Picked up an early tier that we saw and was able to really bully Dade around in lane. Cassiopeia will do that to melee champions. In the top lane even, Going is doing perfectly fine against the Nara as well.
Yeah, a bit of a lead, but nothing major there. Kind of a farm lane there in the top lane. Kind of expect it to just go about as about as regular as it is. If they're both farming, they're both happy. Kind of there to be the big bruiser engaged style for their team.
Yeah, certainly add maybe a little bit more of a split push advantage to the Aurelia, but definitely a team fight advantage over to that now.
Candy is so afraid, by the way. Just instantly Valkyries the moment he gets back to lane. Hits level 4, so the Rockets will help Candy once he gets to level 6, but Uzi is going to make that last as long as possible, and it's just continuing to zone Corki off these creeps.
Yeah, just once again, that wave is pushing in OMG's favor, so it's going to make sure that Candy is zoned even further off. Uzi now has begun to trim the wave, looking to shove it back into that turret. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was a fast push coming through.
Yeah. I mean, Uzi's playing it like that here. Low playing aggressively forward as well. So we'll see what happens. But again, Uzi's Caitlyn, it is terrifying to have to land against. And Candy's really feeling it on the short range Corki here. We'll check it with the junglers a bit though as well. Low does miss the play. They're looking for the hook. Does not land. Good black shield there by Love City as well to keep them safe. But they'll keep going. Uzi hits a binding. Good lantern immediately out by Low. And that will keep Uzi safe. We'll ride it over and continue farming the lane.
Yes, certainly. So if we take a look at this mid lane, Dade has actually only put 1 point in his queue and already started maxing out that E. And that is such an aggressive, really brave build coming out of Dade because being able to trade against Cassiopeia already hard, let alone if you hamstring yourself from the only defensive spell you have.
Yeah, I mean, you can trade reasonably efficiently once you hit the later levels, maybe 9 to 12 or so when you have points in queue, but I'm very surprised there as well. And M3 going to go for another early dragon, his 6-minute 30, but this time OMG look like they might be in for a response.
Yeah, it looks like they are going down to scout that one out straight away, recognizing what is going on potentially. No, they don't have any idea once again, and they're going to be able to pick this one up.
You can actually see there are 2 blue wards just on either side of the dragon pit and 1 near the blue, but none directly on the dragon. So M3 steal another dragon. That's a really nice early jungle pattern. Yeah,
they're going to know exactly what happened there because they did walk over the water and the dragon would have gone off. So they will know when the next one's up, but 7 minutes, that's an awkward dragon timing, about 13. That might give Corki enough time to maybe grab the Sheen, but wow, he's once again, 100% CS still behind.
I mean, they have to buy time for Candy's Trinity Force here as well, so I don't blame them at all. I mean, even Dada needs to power up depending on which build he goes for, especially. Loveling, though, is coming down to the bottom lane just to make matters worse. He walk over a ward, but now Loveling's going to pressure the one lane that's really getting their teeth kicked in.
Yeah, they really are getting bullied around by Uzi, and that turret will eventually fall. It is about half health already, and Candy so low, so this is definitely dive range as well for Loveland.
Candy does not want anything to do with this lane anymore. He doesn't like it very much. Cool, going to go back with about 1,200 gold. Does have a tier early up already. I think we saw an Archangel's Rod of Ages build from Cool last time we played Cassiopeia, so going to go for something pretty similar, have that tanky sort of AP build going.
Yeah, and it's more the frontline Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is that mid to short range mage, wants to be able to chase, and because of that will eat some skill shots. So going for anything that does have a little bit defensive is a good option. Of course, gets all that added AP from her passive, so won't miss out on much.
And maybe the key difference between someone like Lissandra, who's another short-range mage, is that there's a lot of burst on this and a lot of consistent damage from Casper.
Ro is coming in.
Yeah, Ro is going to duck down as well. Uzi actually going very aggressively forward, does get the Lantern. Teleport coming down as well, but the Binding does land in. Looper down here as well. Uzi's trying to find, he's going to flash forward, gets first blood. I don't think he's going to get out of this. He's going to maybe try and get some damage on the tower. Does walk into it and going to walk away. Love City, interestingly, is going to get the kill.
Yeah, and Lupin not able to pick up an assist for it, so a wasted teleport. Overall, probably a trade and fade still of OMG.
Yeah, I mean, Uzi gets the kill. He keeps his lead in this lane. BF sword now to pick up for him with just some really messy-looking components for Candy of that Trinity Force. I mean, he doesn't have either a Phage or a Sheen. He's just got a couple of bits of all of them.
Yeah, exactly right. You just can't get anything going in his favor at this point in the game. He's down 28, nearly 30, 28 CS at this point, and there's not really much going right on the map. OMG, even going because of that teleport, is now shot ahead in CS, and it's 1,000 gold lead just from CS.
Loveling is invading as well. Will not get the red buff. Looper will jump over. Loveling will tunnel away on the Rek'Sai and throw a W out just to annoy them here. Kind of curiously up towards the top as well. Going with an early Zeal instead of maybe a quick Phage or Sheen.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a really curious pickup. Maybe had the two components and then had a second back as Loveling uses his ultimate to get down there.
Loveling, I think, is really just wanting to pick on Candy here. Uzi, you know, he's having a really dominant early start to his lane. Candy is basically scared to do anything here, and Loveling maybe just did that for a bit of pressure.
Yeah, so oh, look at the damage coming through. I'm surprised Uzi didn't ult just to force him off the turret completely, but he has to go back anyway. And yeah, just they're continuing to pick on this bottom lane.
Yeah, and you can see the CS growing 81 to 47 now. Not quite 100% up for Uzi, but it's stayed around that point for quite a while. It's probably 80 plus for the entirety of this lane phase, which is just incredible. Cool now as well. Really far ahead of Dade. Actually didn't notice until I looked down, but Dade's greedy skill build might be costing him a bit here.
Yeah, it definitely is hurting his ability to be able to trade. As we have going, just picking up every CS and getting 2 auto attacks down onto that Nara at the same time. And I think this is really showing what kind of a team M3 is. They're definitely a good team. They're a good middle-of-the-pack team, but they kind of are the poor man's OMG in this series, and the biggest discrepancy we are seeing is in that bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, in the last lane, it was arguably the top lane there with going, just going nuts as well. So, again, we talk about OMG. They have so many threats. Uzi now free hitting the turret, using the Lantern, actually takes it out. That's really creative stuff, and Low playing the perfect partner here to Uzi, it seems.
Yeah, he certainly is, and Uzi now still up by that 40-plus CS, around that 70% mark, and another gank coming through. Yeah,
Low actually going to get dunked. Loveling kills Looper in the top lane, though, and Low is real dead there. Candy actually gets the kill, which is a really nice start for him. Loveling was in the top lane, though, did gank up with going, getting that his second kill, or the second kill for OMG, and his first kill on the top.
Yeah, so able to trade 1-for-1 there. That's good. Picking something up onto Candy will give him a little bit of a reprieve here. If he can pick up this next wave for free, will be also in his favor. So, yeah, they're trying to get some attention down in that bottom lane, help their AD carry out, but with how far ahead Uzi is, that kill probably isn't going to change the story much for now.
Yeah, and the gold lead already 2,000 gold ahead with just a tower down there for OMG. So looking good already. CS pretty much winning in all 3 lanes here. Loveland going will team up for even more gold by taking out the top turret as well. And Candy does actually get the kill into Uzi. That's good 2v1 play there by M3's bottom lane.
Yeah, but extremely greedy play out of Uzi to stick around in a 2v1 lane when your support is that close. He could have just let that hit the turret, cleaned up the CS, instead chooses to walk up and pays for it with his life. And
if Uzi has a major weakness, it is definitely that pride and that greed. He really loves, especially when he's feeling confident, just get aggressive and take risks like that. And that was a risk that he just didn't need to take and paid for it dearly with his life.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, only about 500 gold up in his lane. So he'd been bullying for so long, doing such a good job. Gives 2 kills over to the AD carry, and Fade Sheen picked up now just to a BF Sword pickaxe.
Yeah, not going to have the Trinity Force done very early on for that next Dragon Fight, but if M3 can buy a bit more time, they might be able to get that done as well. Yeah, Rexian towards the top, flies in past Looper. He knows what's up now. Good slow there as well with the smite. Great Nara ultimate though to keep him safe. We're going to try and re-engage here for the chase as well. Looper will bounce out though, and he should be safe. But that was another great bit of Rek'Sai pressure from Loveling.
Yeah, a really cool interaction there between the Gnar and the tunnel as well. Able to stop it halfway through. This might mean that M3 are able to pick up their second dragon though. We've mentioned already how quickly Vi does push through that. Nope, they have to back off.
Yeah, a little too scary there. Rek'Sai is already back down towards the middle of the map with all that tunnels going pretty much all the way from the mid lane to the top lane there.
And we've talked about bottom for so long, then we hit on mid, but all of a sudden, Rek'Sai has a Tiamat on this map, and that's just going to be crazy amount of damage coming through.
Yeah, we don't normally see the damage Rek'Sai's coming out. Just love to go tanky. He has pretty good base damages already, but Loveling going to go in onto Dade, knocks him up. Cool going to move in there as well, but an easy riff walk keeps Dade safe for now, but that might be enough pressure for OMG to do the dragon.
Yeah, it looks like they definitely are looking to get in position to do it.
Good Prey Seeker. Black Shield actually keep the slow off. That's quite important, but cool. Still the movement speed buff does get bound up. Oh, Pinkwood actually going to get protected by Looper. Now Cool Cut out. That's actually a good start here. Can he use the ultimate? No, he can't. Roy gets a free kill there. And now the Dragon going to get aggressed on by M3. That was a really clutch teleport from Looper.
Yeah, and finally we're seeing the purpose of this Vi. It's just to generate picks and pick up quick objectives as Dade goes aggressive onto Uzi, but really nice play to get the teleport and just fly in there with Vi. Covers so much ground.
And that was honestly what M3 didn't do in the last game when they had that next Dragon fight come up. They had the Vi up. They could have just gone for the pick, but they could never make it work in that game. But here, Ro running it back in this game, despite, again, the one-sided game OMG had here, really strong for them to go, you know what, we know this works. Let's play it again.
Yeah, exactly right. And you can understand the thought process behind it, especially when you play it with something like a Cassin and a Corki that has a lot of upfront burst. Just able to get in there, wipe someone off, and rotate around the map. So if they can get more of that going, particularly on the two really big carries, I guess, the Cassiopeia and the Caitlyn, will put them in a better position for this mid game.
And importantly, Uzi is going to start to approach his power trough pretty quickly here. He's got his two components of his eye, but he hasn't finished it yet. He's actually very aggressively, again, 1v2 right now. Gets hit by a binding, but Low is here this time. We'll keep him safe. Loveling and go going in the meantime up towards the top side of the map near the red buff of M3. We'll look to take that away here. Looper in for defense. Cool, they're going to roll around as well. I think M3 are going to have to give up this buff.
Yeah, they certainly will. It looks like Looper wants to try and get a steal away. Oh, the smite came out.
Loveling took it.
Able to secure it. So really nice play from OMG, not losing sight of exactly how they need to force people off objectives. Still pushing in this bottom lane, however.
Of course they are. Uzi, again, getting aggressive, leaving the maximum Lanta time. In fact, ignoring it completely and just shooting Love City in the face. Low's like, hey, man, I want to get you back. And Uzi's like, no, never retreat. There's Dade actually down in here as well. That could cause some problems, but they are going to back off now while OMG's bottom lane. And again, with the power trap hitting for Caitlyn, the next thing for M3 might be find the next Dragon fight, find the next pick. Because if going and Cool can't get him through that mid-game power trough, that is a good opening for Master3.
Yeah, I definitely agree it is, especially because Candy was able to catch up. Sure, he's behind 35 CS, and he's definitely not equal at this point in the game, but just has a much better two-item curve than what a Caitlyn is ever going to be able to accomplish with those Sork Boots as well as the Trinity Force. You throw in the fact that Dade, whilst being about 20 CS behind, will take that as a pretty good lead for a Cassin and into a Cassiopeia. This is potentially building up to a point where M3 will be stronger for a bit in the mid game.
Yeah, Loveland going to good knock up onto Love CD, going, taking a bit of damage, but Low will grab Row up there now, does pop the Assault and Battery, Cool around the side who gets that kill, and there's Morgana going down to Thresh as well. Now Dada going to get locked up, does get stunned actually off to the side by Equilibrium Strike, but will get out with the Rift Walk. OMG though, 2 quick kills for nothing.
Yeah, and Looper just looks a little bit out of sorts in this series so far, wasn't able to rotate down and impact that. Now it doesn't even get in position to be able to defend the turret, so they might even be able to lose that one. And being outperformed pretty comprehensively by Going.
Yeah, and Going, I mean, we talk about how good a player he is. That Trinity Force getting completed up made a big difference in that last skirmish. And OMG are really starting to turn the heat up on this game as well. 3,000, make it almost 4,000 gold ahead for them. Uzi's still farming up with his Infinity Edge now, trying to get their way through the power trough. And I love that as soon as Uzi knows he needs to farm, OMG are back making space for him.
Yeah, exactly right. And they've just got good, I guess, deep ward coverage on that side. They're able to see with that one ward on... Oh, so actually, sorry, I was looking at the red ward. So not actually great wards if he pushes up any further than what he is currently, but I guess the tunnels with the Rek'Sai ultimate up does give him a little bit of that insurance policy with a teleport and a Rek'Sai being able to fly in.
And credit to M3's blue side defensive warding as well. It's a great pink to spot out a lot of different people pushing through and keep Uzi more contained here. Ro actually going to get grabbed out. Logan to ride him all the way in though. Cool. We'll chase in the Lantern actually coming in. Petrifying Gauge just for the slow, and Ro gets basically two men very cleanly there by Cool and Low. Dade going to come in. Love City gets grabbed after Dade Rift walks out, and Cool gets the double kill.
Yeah, and what I just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish by forcing that hard in the mid lane. Really good play as Dade gets caught out as well. Great play from OMG to capitalize on what M3 are doing, because they're greedily trying to clear wards with a support and a jungler against a pretty fed Cassiopeia, which is going to be suicide 9 times out of 10.
Yep, Low down here as well. Uzi going to come in. Candy has to be careful, just getting harassed out of lane again here by Uzi. This Caitlyn still unrelenting in the aggression. Cool going to steal away the blue buff for himself now as well. The Seraphs has also been completed, so that power spike for Cassiopeia has come pretty quickly.
Yeah, it certainly has nice and early. Looper going in.
Candy, that's a sick hook there by Low, but Looper's going to go in, pops around him, it's Cool, no ulti around the side. Low will be the first kill. Uzi's going to ride over with Ro, and Dade going to get the next one. Now Cool getting jumped on also. Loveling though has made his way through. Can he do it 1v4 with the teammate? He's going to get aggressed on now as well. MD will dive in for that next one. Going coming in, and Cool round the side as well for the first time in forever. OMG actually filtering in a little too late here. Rogue, he's going to get that ball breaker chase down as well. Dade maybe looking for the next kill. Going actually trying to get the solo. Doesn't get it though as Looper gets out. And that's 4 clean kills for 1 for M3.
And finally, Looper showing what he was famous for in Korea. Really good teleport play, not even a teleport, really good roam into the bottom lane, coming down, able to affect a team fight before his counterpart in Going was there. Picks up 4 kills for his team, much needed, and get Candy back in a position where he's once again not quite equal. We'll see the replay. So a really good roam down by Looper, and they try and fight hit OMG for a little bit longer than they should. In the end, they're just able to fly over the wall with Rua, and he does a lot of damage in this fight at this point in the game. Lovely. Little bit confusing. Don't know what he was trying to accomplish by going that deep. Gets deleted, and then they just chase going down. Cool. Tried to zone out as best as he could on Cassiopeia. Didn't have the ult available, so wasn't able to do that much.
Yeah, and going here down is going to get chased down, and Looper again in Mega Knife Bomb really helping the team there. Couldn't even get the kill, unfortunately, onto Roy, who was blinking red towards the end of that fight. Dragon is back up though, and OMG going to look to take this one. It'll be their first actually of the game. Yeah,
so this time it looks like the teleport is available for Looper, although he has just turned mini now, so maybe not going to look to fight this one.
We'll have to see. Could teleport down and try and poke them off it, but Dragon is well and truly dead. They're Cool going to get credit for that particular buff, and that's the first one there for OMG. They'll be happy to pick that up for themselves and push themselves a little bit further with their mid-game power.
Yeah, it certainly will be, but I think that M3 will also take the fact that they're able to equalize gold a little bit at this point and get some much-needed pressure around the map with that top going down.
Yeah, Dade getting aggressive again, trying to poke out Uzi with his spells. Cool also now level 12 with a needlessly large rod done as well. As Looper will return home now. See what he wants to go. Actually, already has a Randy one's done nice and quickly. Definitely helping that last team fight out quite well.
Yeah, so he is nice and tanky. He's 1-1-4, able to, I guess, with that last team fight that came through, able to affect it much better. Still has a teleport available, so we'll be able to match the split push nicely. The discrepancies in the bottom lane and the mid, however, are starting to really tell. Dade's actually gone for a tier build. I think that's, once again, very questionable. I think he needs that Zhonya's to be able to jump into the middle, assassinate someone along with Rua, and then jump back out once his cooldowns come back on and continue that persistent damage. Cassiopeia, on the other hand, has now picked up that Zhonya's Hourglass, so going to be even harder to burst down.
And if anything, it's just greedy from Dada. We saw Flandre do it as well in their match today on his Cassidy. And, you know, that he had a bit more time though. He just kind of felt like making an early game choice and being greedy. Dade is just being greedy for the sake of being Dade almost, it feels like. And he might need it here. He does need to do a lot of work in this particular game if he wants to carry the team. But that might be just a bit too much confidence from the M3 mid laner.
Yeah, and I think it's a strange decision just because understanding where their team fight peaks, and it is definitely in the mid game. So he doesn't need to build for the super late game. That's when OMG's team comp is better. So they want to close this one out before it even gets there. So yeah, a little bit of a strange item pickup coming out of Dade.
We'll see here as Uzi going to be joined by Cassidon. down in towards the bottom side of the map. 203 CSs. OMG are 3 manning the Baron. Think about it, though, as Looper will spot them off with the ward. OMG definitely like to sneak in an early Baron, though. Yeah,
they certainly do. And not the Warrior enchant coming out of Loveland this time around. Has gone for that Juggernaut to pick up some extra health off his items, recognizing that maybe after that Tiamat, he does need to go a little bit tankier.
Yeah, as Go going as well. Spectre's Cowpox, the home guard into Tabai Dunsu, who's actually pretty tanky to accompany that Trinity Force early on in this game. We mentioned Cool's 2-item Power Spike coming as well. Missed this, by the way. Saw it in the last team fight on the replay. Cleanse was actually the summoner spell there for Cool. A little bit different there on the Cassiopeia. I guess wants to keep the mobility going. If you can't get out of a stun as Cassiopeia, things go very badly for you.
Yeah, exactly right. And especially with the amount of lockdown single-person CC that comes out of both the support and top laner on M3 side. Nice pickup from them.
Yeah, I like it. It's just something different. I think Cassiopeia, in a lot of ways, is about using her mid and short range as effectively as possible and having good mobility. And Cleanse does afford you a very specific set of mobility.
Yeah, it certainly does. Dade still in this bottom lane. They've started up the Baron once again.
Yeah, Dade's hanging out in the bottom, so that's going to give OMG a power play here around this Baron. They're going to go in for it. Canro going with a smite. No, Loveling's already done, and that's a really confident Baron there for OMG. They're not that far ahead, but they're playing like they're about back up to 7,000, 8,000 gold up.
Yeah, and a questionable, I guess, decision to not fight on the back of that from M3. There was a lot of very low members from OMG coming out of that Dragon Pit, but wow, Rek'Sai coming back in.
Yeah, Loveling immediately
Teleport
uses that
as well.
ultimate to come through. Yeah, it looks like Going is also coming in, charging down towards the mid. The ultimate comes through. That's a flash knock up there. Going, and he goes straight in there, but Looper knocks him into the wall. Cool, though. Popping the ulti over the top. It gets hit by Binding. Uses the cleanse, and then the Zonies to make sure to get out of it. Now, Ro going to take so much damage here from Uzi, who gets that next kill. Loveling, though, being chased down. Cool being aggressed on by Dade as well. Cool will go down there to Candy. Loveling low as well. Will fall to Looper, and now Dade diving in, but Low is in there. There's the double kill for Uzi. Can he make it a triple? They're going on to Candy. Kiting back and forth. Oh, he dodges the last rocket, and that's a triple kill and a 4 for 3 for OMG.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, OMG are playing like they're so far ahead, and they've just blown the game wide open. Now they have the Baroned up minions going to be able to push up in this mid lane with a Caitlyn who is well and truly on her way through that power trough now, and what a good team fight.
And I got trolled. It's only the double kill there for Uzi, but he'll take it, taking out the tier 2 turret as well. And OMG rocket themselves ahead in the gold leader once again. 5,000 gold ahead, dragging up in a minute 30, gonna steal away the blue buff as well. And Uzi just looking so good.
Yeah, as we take a look at this team fight, it's all about the home guards that come in from Going, as he absolutely explodes Candy. Cool gets taken extremely low, but that Zhonya's Hourglass paying dividends just means he can get even more consistent damage out as he kites back. Is taken down eventually by Candy, but this time they've just gone way too deep. Uzi is just hitting people at will at the back end, is going absolutely crazy. I think that he does get the quadra kill in there.
I got lied to. That was definitely a triple. Anyway, we'll see. The clan is trying to troll me, but hey, that was at least a triple there for Uzi, and he deserves it. That was an amazing array of just skill there from that team fight. Kiting back and forth, maximizing the damage. He has 3 damage items now, by the way. Forget that power trough.
Yeah, so that was definitely the triple actually coming through, because Cool picked up the first kill, then Uzi the next 3, and they're not done yet. They're still looking for more people to hunt down.
Well, we have figured it out. Detective Spawn on the case figures out what happened there. And, you know, the easiest way to put it is OMG handily won that last fight. And they are charging down the mid lane now. 11 to 11 the kills, but OMG are much further ahead than that. The Baron buff ticking away as well. This tower gets melted by the 3-item Caitlyn.
And once again, Looper just by himself in the top lane, just taking a stroll. Has absolutely no right to be there. It's so far away from the base. He doesn't need to split push at this point. And there's a Baron up Caitlyn running down, trying to siege your turrets. You need to be there to help your team in that dive situation.
And that's probably just the biggest thing from M3. Again, it's a team full of some really star players, mostly Dade and Looper, their Korean imports. But we've never seen them really fire as a team yet, even in the games that they've won. And they've only won or lost 2-0, which is actually quite impressive. But just even though they have moments of brilliance and their carries are good enough, like, credit to Dade for being so good that he can actually carry teams even when everyone's not really on the same page. But when you're playing against a team like OMG who are very clearly all playing together, you just can't afford to play like that.
Yeah, exactly right. The definition of a good team is where self doesn't come into it. And you feel that on the side of M3, Dade, especially at this point, is trying to jump around and do a lot of the things solo. But on the side of OMG, they're just a complete cohesive unit. We saw in that last team fight, both of the globals coming through, the teleport and the Rek'Sai ultimate, and just able to dive in there and take people out.
And you know what? I don't mind that. If Dade wants to be the star of a team or a team wants to set things up for Dade, fine. Let Dade be the carry. He's a great mid lane player. They don't play like they're setting up for Dade's carry, though.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially when you have someone like Vi that can just sit mid lane and repetitively pick on Cassiopeia. If you decide that all your eggs are on this Cassidy basket, I'm exactly with you. Just sit Vi in his lane and make Cassio's life a living hell.
Yeah, we've seen teams in the LPL pretty much do that successfully. Snake, arguably a very Crystal-centric. Name back on Positive Energy was very Name-centric on that team. And even STYZ for Elite, maybe that's their key to getting ahead as well and really getting that carry up. And of course, Old Royal Club, who can forget? Uzi was that team as far as everyone protect the puppy and he'll kill everyone. But a lot of teams in the LPL, and this is, I think, the biggest trend we've seen, the teams that are losing are the ones that haven't quite found their synergy as a team yet. They don't know what they want to do. They don't have a specific style yet.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's why we gave a lot of credit to OMG first game, because they had shown us a style, which is what they're playing now, which is all the damage threats come through, and you're like, okay, who do we actually have to deal with? Then they swapped it to like a Raise the Puppy comp with a really fed Rumble in the top lane in the end, so maybe didn't work out the way they thought it would, getting that Tristana ahead. So they're using different things and tweaking their identity, showing different cards at this point. At the moment, it looks like M3 is still trying to get it together. And I guess the good news is there are so many games played in the LPL. They have a long time to do it, but you always have to keep in the back of the mind where you are sitting on those standings.
Yeah, and you play a lot of games. You play every team twice in a best of two, but maybe the first set of games against OMG here, M3 can relax a little bit. They're still sitting in a good spot in the standings at 7th, even if this is a loss as well. And that's fine for them. Top 8 make playoffs. That is a long way away, let's be serious. There's so many games to play before we get there, but they only really have to sit in the top 8 if that's what they want. But if they want more than that, they're going to need to push very hard, especially once the later end of the season. And for me, that's the real exciting part of the LPL.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And, if we're looking at M3, if there is a time to make mistakes as a team, it's at the start of the season. They, as a Chinese team, have actually played the longest with their Korean imports, took them into the Demacia Cup and tournaments like that over our summer break, and we're able to watch them play. So they definitely have put a lot of work into trying to get them going. It just doesn't look like it's clicking on all cylinders yet.
Yeah, we'll have to see. There's a lot going on here. What M3 learns from their games, especially against a team like OMG, are very important for them as well. I guess also to as note, big win here for OMG if they manage to get it done. This is, again, will make them the clear first place once again here as we end the day out. There'll be 3 clear points ahead of LGD, sitting on 16 points with LGD back. Already played all the games for today, sitting just at 13.
Yeah, and once again, this match definitely isn't over. They've got a 6,000 gold lead. They're just broken into the base for the first time. But when you've got something like a Na that can jump in there and really turn a team fight, if they can keep stalling this one out, they've got good wave clear in the form of Candy and Na. So they can still stall. There's some things that they can do to play around it. It's just that OMG, once they do get a lead like this, are very methodical in shutting you out.
Yeah, and Uzi has just hit a ridiculous power spike as well. Got the Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge, and the last Whisper on. That's not even the current live patch Phantom Dancer. He's just going for it because he wants all of the damage. So he does this build again. Once the patch changes over, he'll be even stronger at this point.
Yeah, exactly right, with that extra percentage crit going onto Phantom Dancer. But yeah, over the board, they just look like they're in a very good position, and there's not really much you can do with the pick comp that you've set up from M3 to take out 4 different damage threats.
And maybe some missed opportunities as well. Candy, you mentioned, had a great 2-item power spike, or even 1.5, really, if you want to call Boots 2. Not really a full item, but still a great item as well. He's ready to go, but now he's well and truly behind Uzi, probably roughly 1 million gold or so behind. That's not a real number, but yeah, as we look down, 3,000 gold behind.
Yeah, he's 2,000 gold behind at the moment. I guess the good thing is that Corky does a lot more without much because of his mixed damage, but even at this point, that's grasping at straws trying to find a positive.
Yeah, we'll have to see Ugo going in and diving onto Dade, the inhibitor getting under attack as well. Looks like Rexos in the back actually just going in. Loveling zoning them out, and that will give OMG their first inhibitor of this game here. And the gold lead is growing up. It's about 5,000-6,000 ahead. 5-1 in touch for OMG. It looks like it's going to be 2-for-1, I believe, in Dragons.
Yeah, so they're able to rotate and pick one up. I think it's actually maybe 2-2 if they grab this one. Yeah, 2 Dragons have been picked up by M3 at this point. They were, of course, able to grab that extremely early Dragon with that Vi pickup. So nice pickup for the Dragon. They've already sent going back into that top lane. Looks like he's racing cool, wants that CS.
Yeah, that might be the other thing as well. With the Vi pick, M3 have done 2 early Dragons in both of this series here, and that's a good thing to do against a team like OMG. You need every edge you can get, and doing an early Dragons actually kept M3 quite competitive here despite the gold deficit. So we'll have to see what happens here, but Dade now off in split push duty, wants to collect all the farm for himself again. Seems to put a lot of burden on himself to carry this team. His build's getting going, but takes a while here with the very greedy roller tier build.
Yeah, it certainly was a questionable build as he is able to pick up the bottom lane turret. So is getting some gold back for his team. He's picked up that needlessly large rod. Will be going into his Zhonya's, but he's in a lot of trouble in the bottom lane.
Yeah, 3 Atom Spikes coming out of well. Rek'Sai going to dive in. Loving with a great tunnel there. Knocks up Dade, and Uzi going to clean out the gold there for that one. 6-3-0 on this Caitlyn.
Yeah, and once again, just being picked on, going down a little bit too deep by himself, getting greedy for that CS, and cool now. Fancies a 2v1.
Has to be careful going in. Going though is here for backup, and Candy just going to get eaten there. Going flashes forward as well with the blade surge there onto W3D2. The knock up through for Rek'Sai, and Uzi, no, never mind. Aurelia gets the double.
Yeah, double kill coming through. So now going in on the party. 3-2-3. Don't have the Baron up minions, so we'll find it difficult to push in. Of course, only 28 minutes into the game. Death timers are still relatively short.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have any other lanes pushing, so they can't go for anything else. But they'll pressure here, maybe get some damage onto a Nexus turret. Get some more picks if they're really lucky. The minion wave's coming in there. Uzi is very strong, so they're going to make it go at least this first turret. Dade looking around, maybe wants to dive in as well. They're going super aggressive there for. They'll get the first Nexus turret.
Yeah, really nicely played by OMG. They're not done.
No, the super minion is taking up so much damage as well. Ro actually keeps going. Lupin now transforming as well, but he eats a lot of damage early on there. Now Dade looking to dive in. Love City finds the first one. Low hooks Looper back in. Uzi just free hitting around the side, and Cool's going through. Looper there in the side dies almost immediately there to going, and Ro finds going himself, but this is the next to go down. That might just be it. That's an amazing hook there. The double for Aurelia, make it a triple there for going. And M3 is going to run back to the fountain. This might be the game.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's going to be that way. A little bit of a bad Nara ultimate coming through as Dade jumps in to just be killed. And yeah, that'll be a 2-0 sweep for OMG. So nicely played on that.
And again, 2 really fantastic games. Game 1 very one-sided. M3 looking a lot better here in this game, but OMG just proving why they are still the #1 team in the LPL. And that's not just in the standings. Right now, they look like the best team in China.
Yeah, they certainly do, if not the best team in the world. They've come through extremely strong at the start of this split, and yeah, they're just really fun to watch in a great 5-man squad.
Yeah, and they're a team. They are such a good team. They play together. Everyone is amazing. There's big plays going over. This whole team's basically a highlight reel by themselves, which is insane. And you know what? They'll take the 3 points against Master3. They're expected to 2-0 here, and they did in really convincing fashion.
Yeah, and they just must be boosting their confidence because they're winning lane. They're rotating through team fights in the mid game well. They're getting shutouts where they're just starving people off resources. So they're doing everything consistently well. And when you do that as a team, it just makes you feel better and better and better as you go through.
Yeah, I believe we have a replay there from that last game, so let's jump right into more OMG.
Yeah, so this is the flank team fight that comes through. So Loveling had already burned his ultimate to get in, and the teleport is coming through from going. So if we roll the clip, he's got home guards, and he just gets into the middle of the fight and absolutely erases Candy just straight away. It's actually Love CD, sorry. So able to pick that one up, gets through. They're continuing to kite through here. Rua goes down, and Dade jumps very greedily into the back to take pull out. So that was a very nice play. But from here, look how much damage Uzi's just doing by himself. He's just sitting there free hitting in the backline, able to pick himself up a triple kill. Candy tries to get a kill there onto Uzi, but misses the last rocket. And overall, that was just a really well thought out, well coordinated team fight. Yeah,
and a big display there for Uzi as well, who really just styled on that Caitlyn for the entirety of a very rough lane phase for poor Candy there on his Corki, but even that little clip, all walking back and forth, Uzi still so great to watch.
Yeah, he certainly is, and when you put him on something like a Vayne, like a Caitlyn, really takes it to people.
Well, OMG going to close out the day with a very strong 2-0, but we'll be back for our last day of this third week here. Don't go anywhere, guys. At least join us tomorrow. We'll be back with more LPL then.